Traditional children's games with cheerful folk songs sometimes contain a layer of extremely scary content, mostly about ghosts and spiritual phenomena. And here is the Kagome Kagome game, a traditional Japanese game from a country that is a master of urban legends that are incredibly scary. Kagome Kagome is a traditional game that is so familiar in Japan that all children who were born and raised in this country know it. This is a game that is usually played in a group of less than 7 people, but because it is a traditional game, it is usually not limited to the number of players. It can play more than 7 people, but don't be too crowded because it can cause difficulties. When playing this game, one of the players will be chosen to be the Oni, a type of demon that appears in Japanese mythological stories. Oni must sit or stand with his eyes blindfolded. The rest of the players will form a circle around Oni, clap their hands and sing a folk song called Kagome Kagome. It is a folk song dedicated specifically to this game, and its name is also used to name the game. The content of the folk song is as follows. Kagome Kagome, O bird in the cage, when will you escape from the cage? At dawn or at dusk, both the crane and the turtle have slipped. Who is the one standing behind you? When this song ends, Oni must point to the person standing behind him. If he guesses correctly, the person guessed will have to be Oni in the next round. But if he guesses incorrectly, the game will continue. The rules of the game only end when Oni catches the right person. It is clear that the game and the folk song are very cheerful. The person sitting in the middle is just like a bird in a cage, and day and night wants to get out. However, if you analyze it a little deeper, and based on Japanese urban legends, this game is like finding a substitute. Of course, until now, the rumors surrounding it have not been clearly confirmed. However, there have also been many legends that have been created and inspired by Kagome. There are 3 hypotheses about the origin of this game. Hypothesis 1. If Kagome were simply a game like that, then perhaps the game would not be scary. So what makes Kagome a horror game in Japan? It is often said that in Japan in the past, during a period of poverty, some villages were so short of food that they had to play this game to get more food. The way to play is not unusual, however. If the person chosen to be the Oni guesses the name of the person behind him incorrectly, then that person will be taken away to be food for the whole village. Some other stories say that in some other villages, the loser only had some parts of his body chopped off. Hypothesis 2. There is a very scary rumor about the origin of Kagome, which is the story of a woman. In Japanese, the word Kagome means pregnant woman, and the phrase, "O bird in the cage," in the folk song, refers to the baby that the pregnant woman is carrying. This woman was pushed off a cliff by someone, leading to the painful death of both mother and child. Both the crane and the turtle have slipped. In anger and grief, the woman searched for the one who had harmed her to take revenge. Who will be the one standing right behind you? Hypothesis 3. The Kagome song was created by Written in Blood, and this is perhaps also the scariest origin of the folk song. The story tells of a boy who lived in a village. One day, a murder occurred in the village. The victim was one of the boy's friends. Her relatives found her dead on her bed with blood flowing in a circle around her. The special thing was the girl's posture. She was sitting, her knees bent, her hands and head pressed tightly to her knees, her eyes bulging, her lips curled into a spooky smile. There were no injuries on her at all, and the perpetrator was never found. What everyone found was only the lines written in blood on the wall next to the bed, the lyrics of the folk song Kagome Kagome. A few years later, the boy and his family moved to another place. One day, while playing in the forest near his home, the boy caught sight of a group of people around his age, their eyes bulging and white. They immediately formed a circle around him, singing the folk song Kagome Kagome. The boy recognized a familiar face in the crowd, his friend who had died a few years earlier, and then no one saw the boy again. The game is similar to the American game, Blind Man's Bluff. This interpretation of the game is often told to children as a warning. The story is meant to teach children to be careful and to avoid strangers. And this is Creep Factor. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video, and if you like this video, please click like, share and subscribe to the channel for more interesting contents.